You is that how to write a strong cover letter and answer the essay questions that you have to answer in the applications. So, we'll start with Gargi ma'am this time.
Yeah, sure. So I'll frame my answer with respect to DART, and the rest of the panelists can cover the other scholarships. For DART, as I had mentioned in my first answer, they'll ask you all these small questions, and they even put a section that is there anything else that we should know about you, and that's where I wrote that I want to imbibe the German scientific temper and what they're known for. For example, Heidelberg is home to so many laureates. So I feel that your essays, if they're SOPs and personal statements, then I cannot comment because DAR did not require me to do that. But if it's more on your extracurriculars or your what I want to be in one line, etc., etc., then make sure that you don't write it as what you want them to say. Like, okay, wait, let me rephrase it this way. You should not write the idealistic scenario. You should write about yourself, that this is who I am and I'm confident about it, and not that, oh, they'll like if I write computer science researcher, contributing to the scientific community. That is very pretentious. You should be very honest, and you should be true to yourself, and make sure that you somehow tell them that you're a holistic person through your extracurriculars, through some volunteering activities. You tell them that you're a well-rounded person and not just a, I read books, I do courses, and I'm done with this. So that's my 2 cents on it, because DART otherwise did not require me to do anything apart from this. So yeah, that's it from my end.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, Ayushi ma'am, can you go next?
So at Microsoft Research, I don't see for internships, even if you are like applying for 6 months internships or summer internships anytime, they don't actually require cover letter and all. But if you are applying for research fellow, which is like until September, I think the deadline is during September. Uh, that is when you may have to write. I mean, you just will have to write a SOP, your statement of purpose, where you may use the points of how to write an LOR if by chance if you have to write. So I mean, you just transition them and you can make a SOP, and it just has to contain the projects you did and what you contributed to that particular project and what you actually liked in that. So, I mean, these 2, 3 things and shaping them according to what research area you're applying to. So, if, for example, if it was mine in HCI, so I would show that where, the uh, research process, basically design process involved at one moment, and then in another project I had like this and that. Even though I might not have done a project specifically for design, but using a project I may have shaped that to show, okay, this is uh, how try to put in my design thinking to that X project. So I mean, at MSR, you may have to just particularly pinpoint these projects, what you put in, and what were your ideas, and basically what you liked in that. So I mean that covers for MSR if it's research fellow. Otherwise, in internships, it's not required.
Thank you, ma'am. So, Mansi ma'am, would you like to add something to it?
Like I mentioned, for SNBOS, there were like 2 essays required. The first one was a statement of purpose, and the second one was personal statement. And I think I mentioned the 2 differentiating points for them, so I won't reiterate. So I applied to Adobe Women in Tech as well, which asked these specific questions like, have you faced any challenges in your life, or who is your idol? and stuff like that. So reiterating what Gargi mentioned, please be true to yourself. Don't, give fancy answers that you had something dramatic happen in your life and then you did this and this, because whoever's reading your answers is very experienced and he or she will pick out that you are actually lying. So be true to yourself, and trust me, that's enough. You don't have to be very so I remember growing up watching these chick flicks where they write these fancy SOPs about how their life is changed because of something that happened. Trust me, the application committee is not expecting that. They're expecting someone who is interested, curious, and is a true person. That's it. Be true to yourself, be crisp. Uh, just like in your email, mention your selling points. Like for SOP, I would say that you could use a chronological order where you mention your projects. Now, what do you mention in your project? You just don't mention that this is the problem stated, this is the result, and this is that. You're not mentioning, you're not reiterating your resume. You mention things that you could not mention on your resume. You mention things like what were the problems you faced, like what all you learned from the project, how did it help in your academic growth, and what did you contribute to the lab or the project, and how the project will impact the society, and how the project impacted you. So it's like all these questions you're answering in every paragraph where you're describing a project. And overall, you just stitch those paragraphs in such a way that shows that you are inclined towards research. That is it. That is the entire purpose of your statement of purpose. That is it. Now, for a personal statement, like for UC Berkeley, I actually mentioned things like so I faced these very trivial gender discrimination in my research field. So I talked about those, and I talked about how I planned to, enlighten my counterpart section of the society. For example, I somehow believe actions speak louder than words. So I wanted to prove to the girls of my college that you can do things like SN Bose and you can do things like RIS, which no one from CS department in our college, at least in DTU, had procured. So that is what I wrote in my personal statement. And I did not write anything that was not true. So be true to yourself, show that who you are as a person. And I think that is it. You don't have to write anything fancy. And sometimes people don't have many projects to write about. So you can just, incorporate some of the points from your personal statement and mention that your statement of purpose, because eventually the academic person and you as a person are going to intermingle, right? So if you're good at academics but you suck at being a person, it's not going to map out well for you. So that is how one should proceed with answering these questions. You need to be very crisp, and the reason why you need to be crisp is because these questions usually have these character limit. Some have word limit, some have character limit, so it becomes very and they're very stringent. Like you can't even type one period after you exceed the character limit. So be straightforward, be crisp, be precise, be true. These 4 words and you're good to go.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So, Kashri ma'am, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I guess they summed up all. But yeah, the even like for the internships or even for your graduate applications, none of the committee members are looking for any shebang in your application. Like I remember while applying to math grad school, one of the websites actually said that don't mention that you love to play with numbers when you were 5. You are applying to math grad school. Everyone loves to play with numbers when they were 5, right? So don't mention. If they actually mentioned this particular sentence, I'm reading word by word. So yeah, you don't have to be like very fancy or very ideal as a student, as a researcher. And for the MyTax part, I would say that MyTax essay questions were particularly tricky because both of like there were two. One was not like an essay question, but they actually mentioned it as an essay question. So there were 2 questions, and both of those had a limit of 100 words. And which is like, I don't think like anyone is able to mention their strengths and weaknesses in personal statement and statement of purpose in 100 words, right? I found it difficult to mention it in 500 words. 100 words, not even near to that. So the first question was called a research rationale, which basically means that you have to explain that you are fit for research, and why do you think so, and why do you think that MyTax will help you in your research. So you can actually word by word answer these three questions: why research, why you, and why MyTax. And you should sum up in it in 100 words, I would say. And obviously you don't have the words to go more than this, but you should, anyways, you should not involve, like, include all your childhood stories and how, you know, you like to play with stuff when you were little and then you realized, oh, I should do math. You should not do that. And so yeah, research rationale is that. And there was the second question for skills and achievements, as far as I can remember. And for that question, the word limit was 100. But because I did not feel like adding it in a paragraph style, so I put it in pointer style, so that I can actually, I can make my achievements and skills highlight, and they don't have to, find it in a paragraph. So research rationale can be in a paragraph, obviously, because all your statements and essays are expected to be in paras, and they have to be, in a flow of thought. But then the skills and achievements part, I try to put them in pointers, and I try to basically, one thing that I would like to say for MyTax is, and even in general, I guess that there's a notion that research profiles should not, like, positions of responsibilities do not actually contribute to research profiles, which I don't think is true. It did in my case. Like, I had many positions of responsibilities when I was in my undergrad, and I was handling my the math society in DTU, and I was handling the dance society in DTU. So so there was this one time that I had to organize both the fests of both these societies, and I had to give a test, and I had to prepare for my some exams in university. So I remember that time, and I actually mentioned about that experience in all of my essay questions, because that is the time that I remember working the most. Like, I was so occupied all the time, but that made me realize that I am capable of handling stuff altogether, which I think is very applicable to what a PhD student does. So that helped me. So even if you have like positions of responsibilities, do mention them in your, extracurricular part, and in your skills and in your achievement, because you are acquiring many interpersonal skills through that. So yeah, for MyTax, I just mentioned it pointer wise. And also, like, since I worked on the dance fest in DTU, so which is obviously, if I mention the name, they will not understand. So I try to explain the entire thing, that the fest included these many students, and I had to organize these many, like I had to direct these many students in my team and all of that. So that shows that what level of teamwork you have done. So yeah, I guess that's that. And also for MyTax, I don't know if this was covered, but there is a particular format of the CV that is offered at their portal. So I would suggest to all the students who are applying to actually comply their CV with their format, because it's just, they've offered, like, they've put it out for some reason, right? You should not give your CV, and it's a very easy and linear format, so you can easily align your CV to their format. Many students asked me of the sections that are mentioned in their format. So there are sections for publications, and there are sections for research experience and all of that. So keep the format same, but you can alter the section names, right? Like, they are just names, and you have to mention your points beneath that. So I just changed I did not have any publications at that time, obviously. But I changed the research publications name, and I think I mentioned like extracurricular activities and achievements, because it was at the end of the CV. So I mentioned that you can always alter the sections and highlight whatever you think your strengths are, but keep the format same. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to add one last thing, especially with respect to the word limit. Everyone says for all these SOP type of essays that please reiterate, right? All of you know that how important it is to keep going over your SOP and over a span of time. The time is what matters. Usually we end up doing things last minute, and for these research internships, it may not matter that much. But if it's, for example, SN Bose, I'll give you an example. I had an application 2-3 months back, and the word limit was 500, and I started out with 1500, and I was hopeless that I can't get it down. But
Yeah.
in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, I was myself surprised how I cut down on my verbosity, and I realized so many statements are trivial. And that realization came only with time when I looked at it after a period of like 2-3 days. So spare yourself time to reread it yourself, because you yourself will realize how weird it may sound the next time you read it, right? So you don't want to regret. So keep 2 weeks and don't do it every day, but at least every 2 days, and it really helps you get to the word limit somehow. So
Yeah.
reiteration is very important.
Yeah. And also for the SOP part, I would say that one thing that I followed and found helpful was not going through a sample SOP before writing my own. So
That's true.
because
Very true.
like it might be very it might be only for me, but once I read something, I think that the only way to frame it would be that one, right?
Yeah,
So
it
I'm not
biases
Very true.
your writing. Yeah.
exactly,
Definitely
yeah.
biases.
So, one thing that I would say that would be to not read an SOP online before actually writing your own. You can look for structures, as I said, that there you can write in a structure of why research, why you, why the program, and finally, how does the program help you in the long term. But you can follow some proper sort of structure, but don't read an actual SOP like written by someone else before writing your own. At least try to write 2 to 3 drafts of your own and then go and search for an SOP. And maybe, yeah, so that would help you better, because otherwise you will end up using someone else's words in someone else's style of writing, which should not be the case.
Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am. And so
Okay,
I know it's
thank you
been
so much
really
for
long.
these insightful answers. So the